All right, and welcome to Afternoon Drive here with Drew Moholland. I am your host. Thank you for joining us here on a Thursday afternoon in Newburyport on Joppa Radio. Hope you're having a good day here. Hello to everybody streaming on the television. The cameras are rolling as always, so very exciting about that. December 7th here in Newburyport. The sun is shining here, although it is getting dark a lot earlier these days, let me tell you. Took the dog out for a run yesterday and got dark very quickly on us. And I actually have some of the dog on me today. We just went for a little afternoon run before this just because it gets dark so early. But anyways, we got a big show for you here today. Very excited to have a man that I've talked with many times before on a couple of the older shows I've had. Very well known in the area. He is the former head basketball coach at Triton and now starting year one as the basketball coach of the Newburyport Clippers varsity boys team. His name is Dave Clay. Great guy. Played basketball at Newburyport. Was a star player back in the day here for the Clippers. So very excited to have him on today. Coach Dave Clay, going to be a great guest. So I know he'll have a lot of attention of the Triton and Newburyport communities because he was well liked by both communities, and it's going to be great to have him in. So he's in-house. We're going to bring him in just a moment. He'll be sitting right across from me. And yeah, so I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're getting some of that Christmas shopping done here. It seems to get a little bit hectic from here on out, doesn't it? That first week in December already in the books, so Christmas is just about on us here. I know you start to see the family kind of start to show up here in the next week or two, those relatives that show up a little bit early and maybe crash at the house a week or two before Christmas. So I know that happens with my family at least. Maybe that doesn't happen with every family, but that is the way it seems to happen. A lot of the relatives from all around New England start to show up to the North Shore, which is where we host Christmas as a family, and it gets exciting. So I've done a good job with the shopping myself. I got a few of the big people already crossed off, a few other big people still to go, but we'll get that done soon enough here. So enough about me. I want to get to Dave Clay. We have a lot to talk about with him. I got to catch up on him. It's been a busy off season. It is not normal that you go from I won't say normal, but it's not the usual off season when you go from one rival to the other, Triton to Newburyport. And now he's coaching Newburyport varsity basketball. So it's an interesting little thing there that Dave Clay has had going. Also a teacher, so if you're not an athlete, you might know him from the schools, the classrooms, and, who knows? Maybe if you're a middle school kid, you can meet your former teacher here today, Newburyport's Dave Clay. So let's do this. We'll take one quick music break, and then we will be back with Coach Dave Clay. Again, don't forget, folks, the Twitter here. We're going to be live tweeting the show here. We'll do better as we go. We're going to start to open this up to a live producer, too. I'm not sure. I know the plan was to get some flyers out around the school and kind of offer a producer of the day sort of thing, which will be great, actually. If I can just promote this a little bit, actually, before I take our first music break. Producer of the day is something that we hope to have here at the station on Joppa Radio for this show, Afternoon Drive. And the goal is going to be to maybe get a high school kid in here and learn how to work these cameras that you're seeing on the stream right now on me, and also maybe live tweet the show, put some quotes up from the guests that we have on Twitter, take some pictures if you want, really use the social media, and kind of help be a part of the show. Be comfortable maybe jumping on the radio if I ask you to, and just be a part of a radio show, put it together, put some questions together, maybe something interesting that a high school kid would want to ask our guest that maybe I wouldn't exactly be in tune with. So we will be looking for that as we go. I think you'll start to see some flyers around Newburyport High School as we go, and maybe some of the other schools too. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do that, but at least for now, Newburyport. And so if anybody's interested, contact the station here, Joppa Radio. But there's the little promotion thing for that spot. Hopefully we'll develop that as we go. The Twitter handle is at North Shore Live right now. That's kind of the one that I put together, at North Shore Live. At North Shore Live. So it's just one that I had for a long time, and it's now we're partnering here with Joppa Radio, so that's where I'm promoting all the Joppa Radio stuff. So, Coach Dave Clay, Newburyport High School boys basketball, first up on the show. Again, hello on the streaming. Dave Clay is going to be right across from me here in just a moment. We will bring him in. Let's take our first music break right now. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio in just a moment. All right, and welcome back to Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Again, hello to everybody streaming on the television here today. And my first guest has now joined us, Dave Clay. He is the head coach of Newburyport varsity boys basketball, a former Newburyport player. He's been a great guest. I've had him on the past shows that I've had in the area before, and we've always had good conversations, and we got a good chunk of time with him today. So, Coach Clay, how are you? Good to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry, I should probably turn your mic on. Sorry about that. Good to have you back on the show.
No, thank you for having me.
It's needless to say, pretty busy off season for you.
Yeah, very, very busy.
Busier than most. So how has this transition been? As I opened the show with, you were coaching Triton basketball there, and now you make the switch to the rival. You played for Newburyport, so you're familiar with both programs, obviously, but that's a big change.
Yeah, it was tough at first. It was a lot of excitement, a lot of sadness, leaving a lot of great kids I built relationships with, and then a lot more excitement. And now the season's here, and I'm getting to know the players at Newburyport, and I couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah, I know a lot of those Triton guys were very sad to have you leave. You were a very popular coach over there, and you guys put together a nice little program there. How many years did you do Triton?
I was there for a total of 9.
9 years. That's a long run here this day and age. You know, it seems like that's a real veteran coach in 2017. 9 years, my goodness.
Yeah. No, it was a great experience.
What, as far as the Newburyport transition has been, the season does kind of get up on you quickly, doesn't it? I mean, Thanksgiving football's here, then like you immediately jump into tryouts, immediately trying to learn all these kids, and I don't know, maybe you had some relationships beforehand anyway, just by playing against them, but it just gets right up on you, and now you guys are kind of in it, and here you go, off and running, plane takes off, right?
Yeah, it was. It's nice being in the school. I was able to build some relationships with the players before the season started, some of the returners, and now that the season's upon us, it's trying to get as much face time with them as possible and trying to ease my way in. And now I feel like I'm where I like to be at in a coaching style, and they hopefully trust me. I feel like they do right now, and they know that I'm a Clipper now.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, and you kind of always were in a different way. You played there. You were a great player there. Some of the guys that work for us actually were telling me a little bit about your game back in the day. They said always an excellent basketball player. So, but it must be nice to come home. I know you were thrilled. You started your own path there at Triton, but there has to be something kind of in a rounding out, nice kind of circular to come back here in Newburyport and coach where you used to play ball, and it's going to be something pretty cool about that.
Yeah, it's been a surreal experience. Kevin Lucy was really my hero growing up, and I always one day wanted to do what he did, and to finally now have that position. Sometimes I kind of have to pinch myself. It's always been my dream job, and I thought I was going to have to wait another 10 years for Tom Italian to retire, and then I couldn't wait to come over here, but it happened sooner than I expected, and it's good to be home. Yeah,
you know, he was a great guy too, Coach Italian. I know you had a good relationship with him as well, and his kids love playing for him too. There must be a little bit of really, Coach Clay, that's great, but we like Coach Italian too. But is there a little bit of that, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I know Coach Italian had his style, and the kids really loved him, and he built a great program, and he did a great job with them, and he built relationships, and I know a lot of the kids were upset that he left.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You got players who with some pride and some honor in playing for their coaches. That's a good thing too.
Exactly, and I respect Coach Italian a lot for what he's done for the program and how he coached these players. He does it the right way.
And you guys have had some battles over the years too. I mean, you had some great games just in recent years. I know you relished the chance to. Well, actually, I'm trying to remember. You, I think, once told me that. I remember asking you that you must relish the chance playing Newburyport, and you were like, "It's actually kind of a tough week for me when that happens, isn't it?" It's because you teach in the school too, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, When I was coaching at Triton, it was hard because I wanted to come home and not only like prove myself in a way, but all my friends would come to the game because that was the game they really cared about as well. So I never probably was never fully mentally there because I had so many things going on about, how's this going to look, how's that going to look.
Right.
But it was always a great experience coming back to play Newburyport, and it's a lot better
It is. Well, yeah, that game in particular, you got like the alums kind of making, friendly side bets and all that stuff. I mean, you must be like, there's too many people I know in this building.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So now that you're in Newburyport here, you're at Newburyport High. I wonder what the biggest challenge has been as a first-year coach. I mean, you were in your 9th year, so at Triton, you had the program built. Everybody knew how you ran it. If you're going to play ball at Triton, you know what Coach Clay is looking for. Maybe not the case now at Newburyport. Time to start all over again. What has been the biggest challenge?
Not getting the players to understand my style, but I think it's all about building solid relationships with the players.
Yep.
Letting them see that you do care about them, and then finding that fine edge of when you can start to push them and when you got to reel back in, because maybe they're still getting to know you. And I feel like we're at a good point now in the season. It's earlier than I expected, where I feel like I can be myself full force. I just didn't want to come in and start tossing things around and try to prove myself. They know that my heart's in it with them, and it's been good.
You got that fiery side, do you? You can throw a clipboard every now and then?
No throwing stuff. But it's with these guys, it's about getting them to understand that they got to do it for, you got to come in internally motivated.
Yep.
I'm not going to try to get you fired up. We'll have our speeches, we'll have our talks, but at the end of the day, I want you to become the best basketball player you can become, and you got to come with that internal drive.
So what is that style there? We talk about putting your own imprint on this Newburyport team, and I wonder what is the Dave Clay coaching philosophy in simple terms there? Is it an up and down, let's run these teams off the court, or are we playing zone defense, man-to-man? What are you going to get if you're playing basketball for Newburyport?
And
you don't have to tell me too much.
Yeah, no. Effort is huge.
Yep.
We're diving for loose balls, we're taking charges, but the style depends on the team. Ideally, if I was recruiting players, we'd be a full court pressing, fast break team. But you got to adjust year to year with the personnel you have.
Yep.
And this year we have an extremely large and athletic team, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, that's good.
They're very physical. So we're going to adjust our style a little bit. I usually spread the court out, but with a lot of the size we have right now, we might try to get it down low, and then we're going to have kickouts for threes, and everyone loves to shoot a three, So
there you go.
We'll have that, but we're going to look to drive to the hoop. And
has the game changed that much? You hear back in 2 decades, probably even when you were playing, there was much more of an inside-oriented game. Nowadays, you have the Rick Pitino philosophy from 10 years ago is completely taken off, where the worst shot in basketball is the one just inside the three-point line.
Yep.
So the three-point line has become such a weapon for so many teams. Has that really transitioned to the high school level as well, where teams that can shoot the three are other teams that are winning?
Yeah, not necessarily. They're not always the teams winning, but you try to do it like points per possession,
yep.
And then you try to look at your team percentage-wise. What are we shooting percentage-wise from the three, from the foul line, and the game has changed because the three has spread the court out a lot. So now you may have a 6'5" guy who can shoot a three.
Yep.
And now you have to find someone who's around the same height who can guard a 6'5" guy on the perimeter, which is very difficult.
Okay.
So it has changed in that way, where you can go with 5 small guys on a basketball court and have a lot of success, or you can still go big and go down low.
Absolutely. It certainly has. The game is always changing, but the three-point line has certainly been a big one. I was watching one of the state championship games just last year, and that was the biggest thing that jumped off the page to me. It was like every time these guys were, first of all, I forget what team it was. I think it was one of the Danvers games. I'm from Danvers, so I was following those guys when they were making those championship runs a little bit. And I remember thinking, these guys are like, if the shot clock gets it within 10 seconds in, like 30-second shot clock, every shot is off by 20 seconds,
Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy. It's just a completely different way than when we used to play. Work the shot clock, get the best look,
Oh, yeah. No, it has changed in that aspect. I mean, Mike D'Antoni had the second offense with the Suns for a while, and that kind of changed how
Yep.
it looked. And I guess it depends on your team and your personnel, and some teams are strictly defensive and they try to get their points on transition and off of defense. And if you have a good shooting team, you're going to want to try to maybe get as many shots as possible from the perimeter.
Absolutely. Again, we're talking with Coach Dave Clay. He is the Newburyport head basketball coach, starting his first year this year after coaching Triton for the last 9 years. So quite the resume already here for Coach Dave Clay. I wonder, Coach, what about this time of year in particular? It's early December. You just went through all the tryouts and kind of the first wave of practices. How many guys do you have try out, first of all?
We had 67.
Unbelievably big number.
Yep.
Always, I know, the toughest time on a coach in the world. Every coach tells me they just dread it. They got high school kids who are working hard, but the fact of the matter is they cannot all play varsity, and a lot of times they can't all play JV. How do you guys handle that, and what is that like? Talk about really how brutal that is. I don't think people realize it. Parents certainly don't, but I don't think the average person does realize how hard that is on a coach.
It's a mix of emotions because you're so excited for the season to start, but then unfortunately there are kids who, work their tails off in the off season, and they come in and they may not be as good as someone else, and you just hate to see. We coach so we can help kids grow as people and hopefully put them in a position in life to have success, and to tell a player that he's not good enough at this time. It's never a fun. It keeps you up at night.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. You think about it for days on end. I am fortunate where I have three other former head coaches on my staff, so we were able to get a good look on everyone. But even after that, knowing that I had those people looking at him, it still just breaks your heart because you see them in class and they're the nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
And you just want them to be a part of your program.
Yeah. And is there ever that, you just mentioned the 3 assistant coaches. I'm sure there's a little bit of a part of you that maybe somebody was close with another person and hopefully I made the right decision there. Maybe I didn't, a little bit of doubt maybe too.
Yeah. Because, being from this community, I have people who have children in the community, and I know someday they'll try out, and some of them have already tried out. And when you cut them, you hope they don't hold it against you, and I hope they realize that you're doing a fair, honest assessment of all the children, and you can't cut a kid because you like their child more. It just wouldn't be fair.
Absolutely. And what would be because it is a good lesson too. You can cut a college kid or a professional from a team, and you understand it. It's you're more of an adult. But at the high school level, these are just kids, and it can be a little bit tough on a kid to just kind of take that and channel it into getting better and all that. I do wonder, I was thinking this kid, our last guest actually on this show was a kid that maybe Sam Aquaviva, big time runner.
What a great person.
He was really excellent talker. I sat right there and he did a great job. But he was telling me how he used to play soccer, got cut from soccer, and he was devastated, but it was the best thing that ever happened to him because he took up track and he was like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of a star at this, so this is good. Obviously, not everybody's going to have that fantastic story because Sam is a elite runner. But what is your advice to a kid that you probably had some sophomores, freshmen, even freshmen that maybe thought, I can play at this level, the varsity level, and they didn't make it? What is your advice to them? Because it is a good learning lesson.
Yeah, I truly hope they continue to play basketball because I love the game. It's a great game. It's a game you can play well into your 60s, maybe even 70s if you're lucky. And I just want to see them continue to work hard at the sport, and I want them to come back and keep on trying. You just never know what the growth you can have in an off season.
Michael Jordan story, right?
Yeah, exactly. He got cut his sophomore year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to chalk that up as bad coaching, I think. But let's do this. We're going to take one more quick break here. We'll take our first music break. Then we'll come back with much more with Coach Dave Clay of the Newburyport Clippers. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter here at North Shore Live. I'll take a little picture. We'll tweet it out. Stay interactive in just a moment. Hello to everybody streaming on the television. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Thursday afternoon. One quick radio music break, and we'll be right back here. Afternoon Drive with Drew Moholland. My guest is Coach Dave Clay of the Newburyport Clippers boys basketball squad. Keep it here. We'll be right back. Much more on Joppa Radio. All right, little Harry Connick Jr. there on Afternoon Drive. My name is Drew Moholland, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in for another afternoon. We do this show every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. right here on Joppa Radio and streaming on the television. Hello again. Try to have as many interesting guests as possible on this show. It's not always sports, but it is a lot of times because it's a busy sports town and it's a busy sports time of year. But it's open to news, music. We're going to try to get some musicians in here and stuff as well. And we'll kind of just keep it an open forum like this, just trying to get interesting guests. And we have successfully done that again here today. We have Newburyport head basketball coach Dave Clay in the house. He's coaching the boys this year. Year number 1 for Coach Dave Clay at Newburyport after 9 years at Triton. And Coach, we've covered a lot of ground already, but one thing you were telling me during the commercial break, this is a bit of a big year for Newburyport basketball. Tell me why.
Yeah, this is the 100th year that Newburyport basketball has been in existence. It originally started up in December of 1917, and now we mark the 100th year. 100
years. So let's see, what are you going to take us to? This is year 1 for you. You're going to take us to year like 130 or something? Is that
hoping 150.
150, there you go. I said 9 years is a long time this day and age. You never know. But no, I know you said this is your dream job, and you plan on being here for a long time, which is great. One thing I have already heard through the grapevine, and again, you were tipping me off to this, but it is very important to you to kind of dip back into the past a little bit and bring in some alums. And I know you've already done that here, and it's only the first week of December. Who has the Newburyport Clippers team met already?
They met former coach Kevin Lucy.
Big name around here.
Oh, the greatest.
And a couple, at least one state championship, right? One state championship?
Yeah, one state championship, multiple. I feel bad that I don't know how many, but multiple Cape Ann League titles.
Yeah, and in what was a very competitive conference, not only now, but back in the day as well. Very competitive league. What is the toughest part about being a teacher in that Newburyport classroom? You mentioned doing the seeing the kid that maybe didn't make the team, and he's such a great kid. I wish I could have had him on the team. That part's obviously tough, but is there any other things that maybe we don't think about, even just having players that you see every afternoon on the basketball court at practice being maybe even in your classroom? I mean, is that kind of odd at times, or is it great? I don't know.
It's a mixture,
Depends on the kid.
Yeah. There's a few kids I have in class that I also then see on the basketball court, and
you can't mess up in front of the coach, right? Not in class.
No. But I also think at times maybe they see too much of me, and I don't want my voice to drown out.
Yep.
So I got to find a good balance of when to kind of back off them in class, maybe, or back off from the basketball court. But that's going to be a learning experience for me.
That must be a tough balance to find. I will actually, let's get off the basketball just for 1 second, because if you're a middle schooler right now in Newburyport and looking ahead to high school maybe a little bit, you could have you as a teacher someday. What do you teach, and how'd you get into it?
Yeah, I'm a special education teacher, and I primarily co-teach math classes with 2 great teachers, Wendy Levine and Tracy Glenn.
Okay.
And I mean, I love teaching there. I think it is a great building. The administration is phenomenal. The teachers are great.
Yep.
And all the students are just, they're all pleasant. It's the best.
It is a great community. I wonder, when because you were always at Newburyport, or at least for the most of the time while coaching at Triton?
Yes.
Is that
most of the time?
Most of the time, yes. So that, obviously the commute's not that big of a deal, but kind of 2 different environments. It's almost like you have 2 different sets of bosses, really. That must have been a little bit tricky at times.
Yeah, it was more harder after we played Newburyport, and
I bet, yeah.
If we won, I'd stroll the hallways all day. Anytime I could get in the hallway to find a player, I would.
Yeah.
And then when we lost, I hid in my room for a week.
That is too funny. Yeah, that could be weird. I'd bet. I'm sure the players let you hear it a little bit if you were on the losing end, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
As they should.
Yes.
I wonder, dipping back to your playing days, and you had such a successful career. I wonder what you take out of those playing days. Every coach dips back into when they were a player and tries to put themselves in a player's shoes and remember those moments and maybe use them as teaching tools. I wonder how often you're kind of dipping back into those moments on the floor as a Newburyport Clipper wearing that uniform, and how you've brought that into coaching.
Yeah. Now being at Newburyport, it's a little bit different, because there was and there still is. But I remember playing it, and the pride you had about putting on that uniform, and the people who wore it before you. And I remember our junior year, we had an awful year, and I remember having alumni call us.
Oh, jeez.
What's going on? Why'd you guys lose? They had won 3 Cal titles in a row and a state championship, and here we are going 3-15, and after that, I never wanted to be in that position again.
Called you like speakerphone with the team? How'd that work?
No, they called me. I mean, this was way back in the day.
Yep.
But got in touch with me and
called you directly.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Just to say what's going on, like why are we losing?
No, well, yeah, just not scoring as many points. That's unbelievable pressure.
Yeah. But it was good because it came from a good place, and those were my idols growing up. So when they called to be like, what's going on, like it was more of like, how can we help?
How can we help?
What can we do to help you get to where you need to be?
And there's a lot of that. I do feel like there's every program really. I know Coach Paul Yameen on the hockey team was always preaching that to the guys that graduated, come back, skate with us, work with the young guys, be a part of it still. And I know you want that to be the basketball kind of philosophy as well.
Absolutely. I've already heard from like Harley Davis, who was an exceptional basketball player in Newburyport High School, as well as Devin Galvin, who was a great point guard, and they're excited to come back and talk with the kids and have their input into what it meant to wear that jersey. This is such a tough league. I mean, just by being at Triton, how tough this league can be. And, there was a time period when, even not too long ago, like when I was first starting to do some of the hockey games in town, I remember thinking, like, I'm coming into this hockey community. This is a known hockey. Every team is big on hockey. Cape Ann League, synonymous with hockey. And then, like, I'm coming to these games, and yes, the hockey level was great, but it's a smaller crowd tonight because the basketball team has a huge game too. And it seems like the basketball games are really getting a lot of attention. Talk about the jump over the last decade, really, in the Cape Ann League. Maybe after a little bit of a downtime, but the Cape Ann League basketball is really back in a great product right now. Yeah, I mean, every night, great athletes, and just the coaches themselves are tremendous people, and they put in a lot of time to perfect what they do. And I would say all the coaches in the league get the most out of their players day in and day out. And so that's always something you have going against you, is that you're going against a veteran coach who knows his stuff, and you have to really be prepared.
Yep.
And then not to mention the student athletes who are, I mean, they're all great players, and they're all starting to lift now, so they're all a little bit bigger. So you really got to be prepared every night, and you can't really have a bad practice.
Yeah, and I'm sure those do happen, though. Every team has these bad practices. How do you deal with that? Is that one of the things where you do in the Herb Brooks, like get on the line and we're running all day, or is it more of a we'll come back tomorrow? I don't know. What's your style with that?
It's more of a you know what? I'm not gonna beat a dead horse kind of thing. We'll come back tomorrow, and then we'll talk about it. Like, what went wrong? What can I do to help you guys have a better practice?
Do you have that senior leadership? Because so many coaches, almost every coach I talk to knows that, or at least it seems like when they have that team, they'll say they know they have a team that can really do some damage. When the coach is about ready to say something, and somebody else jumps in, some senior leader maybe, and kind of takes that mantle, and the coach can just kind of step back and go, okay, that's very good. We got some leadership. Do you have that this year?
Oh, yeah. We have senior leaders. We have junior leaders.
Yep.
Everyone has put a lot of time into basketball into perfecting their craft, so it's not like they want to go out and have a bad practice.
Right.
They want them all to be good. So in that regard, if someone's having a bad practice, they have that great communication skills where they'll talk to each other, get each other going, and then they'll pick it up on their own.
And I've heard stories. I never obviously got to see you play. What was your game like as a player? You a shooter? You more of a down low guy? A banger? What was it?
I weighed 145 pounds. I was not going anywhere near the paint. I would stay outside and just shoot.
Oh, that's great. Okay, you got some of those guys, do you?
Oh, we got some of those guys. They're all a lot tougher than I was in high school, but yeah.
What do you run with these guys? I always wonder. I think because I try to run and play some ball as much as possible, a couple nights a week. I always say for me, it's like the best exercise in the world. Like playing ball, there's just nothing like it. As far from an exercise point of view, do you get to go out there and run with these guys and play a little bit? How does that work from the coaching point of view, or is it all X's and O's?
I used to. And then I get frustrated with my performance and get mad at myself, right? That you can't do what you used to do. Yeah. And then I would lose concentration on what I'm trying to accomplish in practice. So I've decided to remove myself from that situation. And it's it's worked a lot better for my mental health, physical health, and just overall team.
Getting upset with the play at practice from the coach. Interesting.
Yeah, then a kid steals the ball from you, and you're mad at the kid for stealing a ball at you, and it's unfair to him.
Call a cheap foul, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
That's too funny. Well, you're in excellent shape, though. I mean, you could definitely run with these guys. You look like you could still play right now.
Oh, no, that's all false. I wish.
It's all false.
It's all perception. I tried playing over the summer, and in the next 4 days, I felt like I had
well, that'll happen. Yeah, I do understand that. But
yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah. I like to play in men's leagues and get a good run in.
Yeah.
But I always listen to the older guys. Oh, wait till you get older. Wait till you get older, and
one day happens.
And I'm at that point where I'm not as quick as I used to be. So I go to do my move, and I'm top heavy, so I fall down. And it's just embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, no, I know the old man leagues that I used to joke about, now that I'm playing, and now that those seem like the right level, I'm a little bit discouraged by that myself. But it is fun. It's a great sport to play.
It really is. It's unbelievable.
And to be a part of it every day with these Clippers must be a lot of fun for you as a coach. I wonder what you're looking for at early season growth. I mean, I'm sure you want to chalk up as many wins as you can, because it is one of those things where if you kind of get off to a slow start, you put a lot of pressure on yourself on the back end if you don't kind of accumulate these wins early on. You guys doing a holiday tournament, or
yes, we are.
Yeah. What are the details on that? Why don't you tell me?
We're doing the Mike Verwinski Holiday Tournament, and this year it's held at Amesbury. So we're playing the day after Christmas on the 26th against Triton, which will be a big game, and then 2 days later we play the winner of Amesbury and Georgetown. Okay,
now that'll be your first test versus Triton. That'd be kind of good to get that out of the way, right? I'm sure part of you just wants to let's get that first game versus Triton out of the way, and then we can kind of flip the page a little bit.
Yeah, originally I was thinking that, but I as much as I love those guys and I care about them, I had to kind of put that off to the side for now and just focus on what we can control right now, and that's just our daily practices. And tonight we have a scrimmage, so just kind of looking forward to that, trying to find some growth we can build off in there.
Is there a one major difference that kind of jumped off the page at you? Not so much, every school does things differently. Every athletic director is different personality-wise. You go to Kyle Hodgson from
Sean McGinnis.
Sean McGinnis, that's right. Both great guys. I've talked with them both on several occasions. Kyle, of course, right down the street. I see a little bit more of him, but both great guys. But I imagine maybe two different philosophies, two different ways of being an athletic director. What is the biggest difference switching schools and kind of switching administrations from an athletic director, from your boss's point of view? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been much different. Both are former basketball coaches.
Yeah, that helps, right?
It is great, and they both have. I've already met with Kyle a lot. He'll come, he's observed the practice, so he'll give me good feedback. And Sean McGinnis helped me grow a lot as a basketball coach in my time there. So they're both professionals. They both care about the kids. I mean, they're both great people. Yeah.
So you haven't really noticed too much of a change there. I wonder what about like actual building? I mean, you get it seems like two really good home court advantages, both Triton and Newburyport. Fan support's always going to be there. What about like the gym though? It can be so important for basketball, shooting angles, and what did you find the tougher building to shoot in?
I think Newburyport was a tougher gym to shoot in. So I'm glad we have that.
We're asking the right guy, the guy who wouldn't go in the paint. So
yeah, exactly. With Newburyport, your background kind of fades away at an angle, whereas at Triton you had a straight background. So I think that made a difference. So I'm glad to have that as our advantage because we get to shoot on that background every day, which is only going to benefit us. But Triton also had their benefit with having two courts side by side, so you could have two teams practicing at the same time.
Yeah, that's different too.
Yeah. But the facility, Newburyport's just a newer school. Their weight room is top notch.
Yep, nice weight room.
Phenomenal, and the basketball court is. Kyle got a new base layer on the floor, which has helped us. I think it's oil based, so we're getting like a real nice floor. The wellness teachers are doing a great job of keeping that clean, which has been helpful.
One of those under things that you might not think about, but a definite problem at the high school level, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
There's so many kids out there.
Yep, and it can change your style. If you don't have a good court, it's going to slow your team down, and now you might have to play slower because of that. Yeah. But I mean, Kyle made sure we had a great gym floor this year, and he got some all new. I mean, he's got us all new chairs. I mean, he's always doing something to improve the athletic facility and programs at the high school, which is it's always nice.
Yeah, and one thing, every time I think about Kyle, one thing he did was kind of jump into the social media thing, and he's got the Twitter account at Port Athletics, I know is the handle there. You actually have your own, right, for people who want to follow you?
Yep.
I think I hit you up on it earlier.
Yeah.
At Coach Clay, is that right?
I have one for Coach Clay, and then I have one for Newburyport basketball, where it's at NBPT, that lower underscore.
Okay.
B-ball.
Okay.
And
for anybody who wants to check out the what's happening with Port basketball.
Yep. And I don't know when Kyle sleeps. Honestly, yeah. he is always doing something to improve the athletics program at Newburyport, which has been it's just nice. It's real good.
You know, that little thing we were just talking about, that social media has presented some problems over the years for not so much at Newburyport, but other schools, not only around here, but nationwide. I wonder, have you come across any issues with the social media, or because there's sometimes trash talking maybe goes to a level that it shouldn't, or these are kids after all, and sometimes they don't realize what they type on that thing is just, you have to think about it just like how you're speaking in real life. Any issues you've encountered over the years, or have you been lucky and avoided the social media storm?
Yeah, I have been fortunate. I mean, that's one thing I look for when taking kids is, who are they as people?
Yep.
You always want to be. I'm with these kids. I depend on them basically for 3 months to be good humans, and you want to
good humans.
You just do the right thing, and I feel like nowadays doing the right thing is very hard. It's easy to do the wrong thing, and that's what a lot of people are doing, and these guys are extremely tough in that regard. That I know they're always going to be doing the right thing. Well,
that must be comforting, because well, let's face it, if you get a revolt from a bunch of 12 kids on your basketball team, you're in big trouble as a head coach, right?
Yep.
But it can create a tricky situation. I think coaches always say to me, it's if you can just preach in that first practice, use your social media, but treat it like you're speaking in real life to, I don't know, treat it like your mother's right there. Make sure she would approve,
Yeah,
you know what I just did? I just stole a line from Sam Aquaviva. That is exactly what he said last week. And he first thing he said to me, actually, in all honesty, when he left, he goes, "Oh man, I forgot to give my mother a shout out." So I said, "So here you go, Mrs. Aquaviva. There you go. Your shout out from Sam." He felt bad about it, so he did say that line though, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh yes, that is good. But it's true. I mean, you have to really watch what you put out there, and because it's a representation of yourself, your school, your family, your community. And as long as I can do my best to express to them how important it is, hopefully they keep on doing the right thing.
Absolutely. You got about 5 more minutes left in you. If we take one more quick music break, you can stick around for a few more?
Absolutely.
All right. We're joined by Coach Dave Clay. He is the Newburyport High School boys basketball coach here, getting ready to kind of jump full blast into the basketball season. It has arrived, folks, December 7th. So here we go. And this is his first year with the Clippers after coaching 9 years at Triton. So covering a lot of ground here today on Afternoon Drive. I am your host, Drew Moholland. We are streaming on the television as well, so hello everybody out there, and we're going to do the show every Tuesday and Thursday here. We've got a good handful in the books now, so we're off and running with this program, Afternoon Drive, every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to take a quick music break. We'll be right back. We'll take the last segment in just a moment with Coach Dave Clay, Newburyport Clippers basketball. Keep it here, Joppa Radio. All right, and welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland, joined by Dave Clay, a great guest here. He is the head coach of Newburyport boys basketball. And we have covered all sorts of ground today, which has been fantastic. Another great guest. I'm going to go ahead and say, Dave, that we're 5 for 5 on great guests here so far in this show. So it's been a good start. I mentioned Sam Aquaviva was our last guest, who I know is a student in the school that you teach at, Newburyport. He was a guest last week. Great guest, well-spoken kid, great runner. And you want to steal something that he did.
Yes. Got to shout out to my mom.
There you go. Shout out to mom. This is going to become a thing, I think.
No, she is the strongest woman I know.
She
really is. she's my life hero.
Yep. Well, there you go. Good for you. See, that's the shout out to mom. So, why don't I do it? Shout out to my mom too. Happy holidays. There you go. Actually, while we're on kind of that note, it's the season of giving. I know this. We've talked about this several times, I know, but this is a different show, so maybe we'll bring it up. And it just hit me right now a little bit from the memory bank. But you had the community come together after an unfortunate incident on Plum Island, was it, where you lived? Is that right?
Yep.
And I'm saying this, and I'm saying, geez, I hope I have this right as I remember. But yeah, I just remember that from a past conversation. How was the housing situation? Because your house literally went in flames. I think a lot of people might remember the big fire on Plum Island. What was that?
That was
3
2 years ago, maybe.
2 years ago, yeah.
A year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that was not a great day, I know.
No. I think it was one of the best bonfires Plum Island has ever seen.
One of the best bonfires, yeah.
It was
no injuries, right?
No injuries.
That was huge.
Yep. It was definitely tough to watch, but it's one of those things that it happens.
Yeah.
And you just gotta kind of
I know
regroup.
That one of the things that struck me, that's when I knew that you were a very well-liked guy in the community, because you have no idea how many people you got to talk to Coach Clay. This was brutal. You got to have him on because you get him to just he's a great guy and have him on, because this was a terrible story. But I knew right away that you were a very liked guy in the community after so many people having nice things to say about you after that. So that, I guess from a really bad situation, everything worked out all right. Are you still living on Plum Island, or did you relocate?
Yeah, no.
You are, okay.
Me, got married in August, and me.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
Very good. You can give a shout out to your wife too.
Yeah,
that's
Rebecca. She's the best. She is. Amazing.
Oh, there you go. So in August? All right. So where'd you get married?
Out on Nantucket.
Very nice.
The solar eclipse.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you plan it that way?
Yeah, she's a science teacher. And,
okay. At Newburyport?
No, she's at the Brooks School right now.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
We had a nice small just family and
awesome,
a few friends, and it was one of the best days of my life.
There you go. Well, yeah, I got married. I'm a little over a year now, so I'm kind of fresh on that as myself. Not much feels too different, right?
No, it's different, but it's the same.
It is, yeah. So I know in my case we've been together for many years. So really, once you actually buy the house together, I always say that that's kind of the bigger commitment. I think once you get the house together, which we did first, we reversed it all.
Yeah, we'll get there someday.
Well, so you guys are on Plum Island still, which is great. I mean, you must see some beautiful stuff on Plum Island. I had Mike Morris on, who was he does a lot of the research on Plum Island and sea levels and all that stuff, and he says it's the best job. He's like, I go down there and check out and do my measurements and all that, and then see these beautiful sunsets and all. I mean, it is a beautiful spot, isn't it?
It is, and that is one of my hobbies, is taking pictures of sunrises and sunsets.
Yep.
And it's one of those places, once you go over that bridge, all your worries are gone. It's just
home.
It is. It's a happy place.
That is excellent. So let's finish here, as we got a couple minutes left. Obviously, a big basketball season ahead. What are your expectations for year one? Because it's weird to take over a team. I know that it is not really your guys that you got to groom last year. This is a whole new regime. You're bringing in new assistant coaches. I think all new assistant coaches. Is that right?
Yeah,
all your guys,
with the exception of Coach Went, who's
he's sticking around.
Coach. Yep.
Okay. So you bring it, but it's a whole different feel, and that can be tough on kids as far as adjustments. Maybe it takes a little longer to get into the season. What are your realistic expectations as a head coach of Newburyport basketball right now?
With the team we have, I really expect us to
win a championship. Okay, yeah. Very good. Yeah.
No, seriously.
There you go. Right at it.
I want to win a Cal championship with these guys, and and it's about them. I don't want to have a hiccup in a year because they had a new coach.
Yep.
I want these seniors to end their career on a great note and have a great experience and have it be something they always remember. And I don't think there's anything better than a Cal championship to remember your senior year by.
Do you remember those final games as a senior? Because I think I remember the sports I played. I can pretty much remember every last match, anything. You really do cherish it a little bit more as a senior. I always say junior year is kind of the best time because you're in the prime, you're a leader. you're not really thinking too hard about college. At least the pressure of it isn't there. Then senior year comes and all that stuff. There's so many other things happening. It goes by so quickly, and you almost sometimes don't have time to cherish every last practice and everything. I'm sure you remember your final days, but
they were the best. I had a great coach in Mike Kasperzak. I had the best teammates in the world. Was just at a wedding for a teammate last weekend.
Yep.
And it's one of those bonds that we still keep in touch. I see I was a captain or the fellow captain. I see him every weekend.
No kidding.
It's just one of those things. And I remember my last game like it was yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, I do the same thing. I played tennis with. We were the captain senior year. I still play tennis with him when he comes back home. It's great. And it is a cool thing, the sports bonds that you spend so much time together as a group. You think about going to school for however many hours. Is that changing, I think, by the way? Are you guys changing start times? Talking about it?
Not that I from what I last heard, it was put off to the side for a little bit.
Okay. What is the teacher perspective on that? You get the best perspective because athletics is kind of a big little piece of this puzzle, right?
Yeah. It's different teacher to teacher. From my perspective in athletics, it would be difficult.
It'd be difficult, yeah.
But
just because you got kids staying there later, or
you get we only have so much gym time we can use.
Gotcha.
So now that's cut down a little bit, and I know it's only a half hour, but that half hour goes a long way when the youth are in there from 8 to 9:30 at night. So it's
I see what you're saying.
Sport's gonna be able to practice and
gotcha.
There's a lot of and then what if a teacher has a second job? What if they're a waitress or bartender, or they have their child care? There's so many.
There is a lot of that too, isn't it?
That you gotta play out, and it's. I just wish the kids would go to bed earlier.
It is. Well, for somebody who works at 2 a.m, the thought of not starting class until 8 o'clock or whatever Boston just decided. I think Boston's making that move. They're going to let the high school kids sleep in a little bit, so a little bit different in that regard. But I don't know. Whatever. I'm the wrong person to talk to when it comes to sleep. I'm not a sleep expert. Let's put it this way. Final 60 seconds, Coach Dave Clay, Newburyport Clippers head basketball coach. Why don't I just give you the floor here for the final minute and tell the people of Newburyport, tell the people of the whole area, really, why they should come out and see Newburyport Clippers basketball this year.
It's going to be an exciting game to see. Any game you come and see. We have 7 home games, and all of them will be great. We also play in some very high-end teams in St. John's Prep on December 16th. We're playing Melrose, North Andover. So we're playing up in competition. And if anything, if you bring your kids, they'll have some great role models to look for. All of the players are honor roll students. They all work hard in the classroom. So if anything, bring your kids, come down, watch a game, come say hi to us after it.
Hopefully after a win.
Yes, after a win. And, just involve yourself. It's going to be a fun time. We have a great environment, and it's always a great game.
It certainly is. I've done it myself. It's a great take. Get on over to a Newburyport Clippers basketball game if you can. Coach Dave Clay, always appreciate it, man. We've had some great talks over the years when you were at Triton, and it's great to have you right down the street here. Now, 0.6 miles away, I think?
It's the best, and thank you for having me on here today.
And best of luck to you and the Newburyport Clippers here in year 1 of the Dave Clay regime and year 100 of Newburyport Clippers basketball. That is it, folks. The fastest hour in radio. As I'm quickly learning here, it just flies by, especially when you have a great guest like Dave Clay. Get out and check out the Newburyport Clippers basketball squad if you get a chance. That is going to do it for Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in on the television. We appreciate it. It has been another blast. Have a great weekend. It's Thursday already. Pretty cool. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Tuesday afternoon, 3 o'clock for another great hour. Not sure who the guest is going to be. We'll figure it out by then. I promise. Have a great day. Happy holidays. Have a great weekend. This has been Afternoon Drive. My name's Drew Moholland, Joppa Radio.